Thanks. Thank you. And good morning. It's wonderful. Jessica's presentation was fantastic. It was intuitive and sensible and not too complicated, much like some of the things we used to do back in the day of making magic sort of intuitive. It's a privilege to share this bill with so many people, so many amazing practitioners. So, and thank you to everybody who's organizing and doing the logistics on this. It's insane. I don't know how they put this all together and arranged it. I dedicate this work to Anansi, my protector, tiny but mighty, spinner of webs, spinner of words, weaver of mats, who entraps the unwary and recounts their tales. I also dedicate this to the sun. I was trying to decide what to dedicate today to, and it seems like the sun is generally benevolent, so no one would object to it. And also, I don't think anybody would object to a little sun today. So here we go. I'd like to start with a little admonition or imprecation, perhaps. Caveat sector, may the cutter beware. The idea of the word, the logos, is the foundation of Western rationalism. It all begins with the law is written, it is written. And it's the foundation of rationalism, the is of identity, as Korzybski might say. But if in the beginning was the word, and if you're familiar with Brian Geisen, he said, rub out the word. If we rub out the word, we expropriate the word, we cut it up. This is normal. Perception of memory are cut-ups. Our perception is cut up. When we cut up the word, when we take words that are together, we are undermining the logos and we're undermining the foundation of Western rationalism. We're introducing chaos. Not magic, not in a direction. This thing has teeth. Poets don't own words. The idea that you own words is a delusion. Nobody owns word, not you, not Google, not Meta, not ChatGPT. Throw it all into the meat grinder and see what comes out the other end. The meat grinder is relentless and without mercy, and it also has no predictable outcome. This isn't a parlor game. There's nothing oblique about the strategy of rubbing out the word, of cutting it up. It's not a clever word association game for washed-up artistes and expensive seminars for some kind of inspiration for writers. It's a gate to chaos, to chapel perilous, as Robert Anton Wilson would say. So choose your words and your razor wisely, carefully. As Burroughs said, a switchblade may be a better tool than scissors. So chop or slice or tear or weave and see if meaning survives, if it ever was there in the first place. And as we drift further down the time-space to-be continuum, words seem to carry more weight, yet less significance. More words are created each day, strung together by humans and allegory rhythms. Yet how many matter? What intent was behind their concatenation and what is their purpose? Rub out the words, rub my words, rub out your own words. Because poets don't own words, you never will rub them out. Take your pithy observations, your clever turns of phrase, the dead white males and the street poets, and put them in the meat grinder and see what remains. Is there any meaning left? Do the words sing? Sink or swim or float into insightful new patterns? Or is it just more words, more false meaning? You can bypass the random salt by cherry-picking your input. But what comes out will be random. Edit as you will. Hide the parts that don't appeal to you. Stack and rearrange them to suit your aesthetic. But when you do, you defy the oracle. Would you rearrange or burn the cards in a tarot reading? Why would you do that with your words? Are you rubbing out the word or merely generating new catchphrases. In closing, I want to propose a little meditation. Imagine yourself standing naked with all of your words, everything you've ever written, everything you've ever said, maybe in a bowl, maybe in a skull cap, and cast those words into the wind, perhaps into a fire. Watch them burn as you toss them into the winds. Burn them. Rub out your words. Efface them now. They're harder to erase. They're harder to efface because they're digitally ossified, fossilized. Delete your posts and your comments and your emails. Rub them out. Rub the words out. Rub out the word. And now it's time to honor soul. I'll show you a brief little slides of some of the permutations that Geisen used to do. And of course, what would Crowley do? WWCD. There's paste the sheets from left to right and top to bottom, then behold, what are cut-ups? And there's a solve and coagula aspect to this. We're going to be more in coagula mode. So now I'm going to attempt the technology part, and we'll see how that works out. Again, this is dedicated to Saul, warmer of stones, bringer of life, and hopefully chaser of rain in this case. Oh, and there's also a weaving aspect that I'll go into in a moment, which is a fun way to cut things up because there's so many different things. And when you cut up, there are different things you can pay attention to, and I'll start showing you those now as I begin some of my cuts. Let me get to, this is where everything always goes sideways, so let's see what happens here. We got it? Okay. Figuring out how to mirror your cell phone screen is a little bit tricky. So we have these papers. And many words, many prayers to the sun. I've got one from Llewellyn book, and one from an Egyptian tomb inscription. So I'm going to chop some of these up for you. I'll show you some fun ways we can do this in a digital fashion. What I like to do is just when I see words on the street, it's really fun if you go to a museum and you're looking at history and you take pictures of all the different things and then you make a collage of the words and then you can cut it up using text recognition and you're done. And shapes have significance. You can do triangles. What are you using? Are you using a razor? Using a knife? Your teeth? You can do it any way you want. Do it the way you want and think of the symbolism in it. You can match it up with the astrology and the herbs that Jessica was speaking of. Scissors, or a pear, maybe Gemini. So we take these and we lay them out. I'll take a Harry Crosby poem too. He loved the sun and I love him. Genesis turned me on to Harry Crosby actually. He was J.P. Morgan's nephew, and he decided to waste all of his money buying books. He was just kind of broken from the First World War and moved to Paris and was a center of that and started a publishing house, wasted all of his money making beautiful editions of people's poetry. He first published The Bridge by whatever his name is, and the first Ezra Pound canto, and et cetera, et cetera. Wonderful man. And he worshipped the sun and wrote many poems to the sun. So hypothetically, this will be our first one. we'll just take this. Oh, I could have done that a different way. Let's do this. Hey, just because I do tech doesn't mean I do tech well. All right, so we can do this way. All right, so we'll take that and we'll zap it. Can I zoom? I can zoom. No, I can't zoom. Okay, I got to do it. Yeah, let's see, can we zoom it? I don't think I can zoom using, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know how to do that with the mouse. With which? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, fine, we'll do it a different way. You just gotta do what you do. Okay, and then I have to do this part. Can't do all of this way. Okay, so then we'll go out of there. Doesn't let you swipe. Okay, so we've got a photo now. And we'll do that in collage mode. Do I have it? I do not. Okay, do it again. Fine. It has to be difficult. Technology always has to make a fool of you. All right, so that looks like it's there. So now we'll go into this thing. It's still not there. Okay. Try again. Back. There it is. Okay. So you can go into a collage mode and you can select these various things. This will give you a nice little digital version, and you can decrease the borders and zoom things up, and then we will save that. And we'll go to, all right. And hopefully none of the narcissistic photos I took in the bathroom last night will turn up in here. Shit happens. No, we'll do that a different way. So we'll go this way, and we'll take this one, and then we'll take that as text. It looks like it's going to recognize it, maybe. Quality takes time. All right, so now, see, did it get any? We'll go back. Back. Stop this. Why is it doing this? This never fails. I always think of the chariot as being technology, but it always ends up being the fool instead. All right. There we go. No? Oh, trust me, I did. It's selecting it. Okay, so what happened here? It usually doesn't. It usually does it. It doesn't usually have a problem with it. Okay, it's in photos. Why is it in photos? Okay, let's go in lens. Copy text. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. I know what's going on. There it is. Okay. All right, now we're going to select it all. Are these results useful? We will see. Let me copy that, and then I'm going to put it into my old friend Microsoft Word. Let me put it in there. And we'll paste it into there. If Boomer can figure out how to paste. This is not straightforward stuff. Okay. All right. So now, we'll select all. So this is the fun part, where you can create a digital cut-up prayer wheel.
As where the flesh spends in thy bark at the jant blessing, de climax uncontour at the prow, and odes of morning. E.T. the sun, facing west. Foreheads. D of alternate tongue, that darts a. Be born from this on dares to tell personal distress, the behemoths of HN in thy setting, even you goffa tear. O ris. All manly. You are the gods. Eaten by a cirque at the downgoing. Sig cautiously bondur at the prow, and enfold, gratitude foods of day. EIR Tornius firefly one sin s, where the flesh is bold iant blessing to climax, uncontrolled D of alternate tongue that darts awry. O ris. You goth ater all men lee. Be born from this excess on dares to tell personal distress, the behemoths of hell. You are the eaten by a solo UG, cautiously bowed down th the gods. Sun the dark. Insange. Dreams.
So that's the first one. Now we're going to do the fun weaving one. And I started doing research into weaving because I didn't know anything about weaving because nobody ever sent me to summer camp. And I never learned any of these things, any of the manly arts, so to speak. I can't fix a canoe. I don't know, it's shit. So what I'm going to do, I don't think that's not right. Let's see if we can get this sucker back in here. Okay, so this thing is a little bit temperamental as well. We'll see if this will let us run. It wants a... Okay. You have to answer a dialogue on the screen to get this thing to work, so it's just a little bit... This is a lot easier in rehearsal than it is in real time, live in front of a bunch of people that you're trying to impress. But, say like where? Like here? Yeah, something like that, yeah. It just doesn't always cooperate. Piece is here. Okay. Here we go. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. So I'm going to cut this in, I don't know, 2-line little segments. This is from the Greek prayer. And this will be from the Greek prayer. And I don't cherry pick, personally. It's fun to pick the stuff you like. But it kind of takes the randomness out of it. Um, by the way, I've noticed everybody calls the Temple of Psychic Youth, talks about that in the context of chaos magic, but the difference between the Temple of Psychic Youth and some of the other, shall we call them disruptive magical movements of the time, is that we decided to reject the Museum of Magic and what had come before. And we tried to come up with our own symbol sets, modern symbol sets, and not relate things back. And I was appalled when I noticed that there were chaos magic banishings and the alphabet of desire was being attributed to the Kabbalah and various things like that, and directions and these, sort of old-fashioned things. And one thing that I love the most about Spare is that I feel that his work is one of the truly last remaining wild places in magic that hasn't been marked, hasn't been colonized in a way that remains a wild place and remains, or allows itself to be openly interpreted anyway. And so I don't like us being associated, the work that we did back then, being associated with that in the same box, because I think what we were trying to do was different. And we'll do more messy snips here. So anyway, I started researching weaving and realizing that the warp and the weft mean different things. And I started looking it up, sort of what those mean. And one is vertical and one is horizontal. And typically, you lay out the warp first, which is the sort of the grid. And then the weave part is actually the weft. And both of those must mean different things. Yes? Oh dear. Okay, we'll get there. Thank you for the heads up. Rambling, yeah. And then it's gonna be mad because I don't have USB debugging enabled, so I have to do that again. Yeah. Whatever. Bite me. Did it go? Okay, so we have to re-enable it. Okay. Thanks everybody for having my back. Give these folks a round of applause. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. And I think I'm going to take some of Jessica's herbs because I'm quite congested, excuse me. I believe so. You can Google it and correct me, please. I claim no monopoly on any understanding of much. And the last one. So anyway, I found out that there's a bunch of different ways that they get done, and you can alternate them. You can make the warp and the weft. You can create these really neat patterns with it. And I started experimenting with that. I'm not going to dig myself that hole today. But anyway, you can do stuff. And I actually even made a basket out of it. And the interesting, here's how you can look at the weaves. And I actually bought a guillotine cutter like that so that I could make very precise little cuts. And I do it with pictures and with other stuff. And then I discovered that, of course, Anansi, my patron, male spiders weave a special web called a sperm mat. And they basically masturbate and ejaculate onto these webs because the females are so poisonous and fierce that the only way that they can impregnate them is by inserting this web with their semen into their parts. And so basically, it seems to me that the spider invented the Topi sigil. So there you have it. And it makes an interesting vehicle when you weave things. It makes an interesting thing to draw on and to do magic with if you're so inclined. So now we'll take another picture, and then we'll go through another disconcerting. Can't do that. No. Can't zoom. All right. That's a photo. And we'll shoot it. And I think I'm getting out of time. Okay. So now we'll pick this up. You can see my smiling face. Yeah. It's just, yeah. Endlessly. Okay. Lack of internet gives me an extra dialogue, which is great. Okay, but in the meantime, I can be doing my business here. And we'll go back to, we'll just do this in straight in photos if we have it. Let's see, do we have a weave? There's a weave. And we can zoom it up. And we can flip it. I've got a list of all these apps that I can, and the resources that I used for this, if you're interested in such things as well. Okay. That's crop. Sure. It's all a crop. Okay. And can I flip it? It's not happy. It wants to send secret messages to the mothership in Taiwan, but it's not going to. Crop adjust. None of that works. Okay, fine. Lens. Text. Semi-useful. What do you think? Are these results useful? All right, the people's choice. All right, yeah, whatever. And now we'll select all. And we will copy again. And we'll see what that had to say. Put it back into Word again. Thank goodness this isn't my love pan to my future soulmate. Now these get pretty strange because they break stuff up big time. This kind of messes it up because it's going to be select, and we will read aloud. It's fun to have it read aloud. It's not as mortifying as reading it yourself.
The gods. Eaten by a cirque at the downgoing. Sig cautiously bondur at the prow, and enfold gratitude foods of day. EIR Tornius Firefly 1 sin S, where the flesh is bold iant blessing to climax uncontrolled D of eternate tongue that darts awry. O Ris. You goff eter all men lee. Be born from this excess on dares to tell personal distress, the behemoths of hell. You are the eaten by a solo UG, cautiously bowed down th the gods. Sun the dark. Insange. Dreams.
Did it? Okay, fine. We'll do it again. Oh yeah, that's much better. All right, it's confusing for me. Okay, yeah, you've seen this show before. I'm gonna leave this bit for now so that you don't have all this admin overhead. And let's see what happens when we paste this one. Should we do a new document? Let's do a new document. No. Do a new one. Okay. Come on. Yeah, I think I accidentally did the same one again. I think I pasted it in again. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is completely different. Oh, this is a mess. And a bunch of it came out in different languages. Let's see what it does. There's some Thai in there. And it looks like maybe Armenian. Let's see. Oh, this is worth sharing, I think, so give me a moment. My apologies for the tech overhead here. It's much easier when you do this yourself at home and there's nobody watching. Or if you're on the street and you're showing off to your friends or something at your incredible spontaneous cut-up magic. Okay, here we go. There we go. As you can see, we've got quite a Tower of Babel here, so to speak, and now we can actually listen to the babble. Is she talking? No. Okay. Doesn't like this. I don't know why. It's supposed to be talking. Oh.
16919 Press Modin Q 2691-10119 RT Blow and AB. .229 Tinus 19. Dot 969 to 1 Nizen to 1690,191 2 B10 2 superscript 2 TI Pride Ask. Y. IL 19H. Fovame. KA. Μοραπατά. Το ρεμούσα εκεί Y82, P5, 02 μου υλό. Μου. Juam. Jag Mose. Ilopi. SV 6919 INI AMA 2AT 20W. Blog BAS. Dreams.
So, my device has glossolalia. That's incredible. So with that, I think it's best we abandon the technology. I'll give you a quick little walk down memory lane. I scammed my way into interviewing William S. Burroughs in 1986, which was a pretty phenomenal thing. I got to spend about an hour with him and asked him really dumb questions as a 22-year-old would. But, Allen Ginsberg took a couple pictures of me interviewing him, which is pretty cool. That's Gregory Corso on the right, who was the one who left the Cut Up project. He was a contributor to Minutes to Go, the first Cut Up experiment, and in the afterword wrote that it was too chaotic and removed the soul of writing and the poet, and that he believed that that had to be part of the creative process, and so he rejected it for the rest of his life. So iteration is fun. I'm an iterative kind of dude, and so translating into other languages has happened with this. You can use spell and grammar checker to mess things up. I haven't found an easy way to merge the lines, which would make it a lot better to get the text to go together when it's selected. And then you can search the phrase in Google. Blixa Bargeld from the Einstürzende Neubauten has a really fun technique he calls Google Monster. It's on his blog in Facebook or Instagram. And it's where you pick a phrase and in quotes, and then you search for that phrase and see what search results come out, and then you use those as a method. He also has a thing called verticals, where he has all of his diaries digitized, and it'll search by a certain day of the week, and so take all the diary entries, all the journal entries from Thursdays, or take all the journal entries from Brussels, or something like that, and use those to string together kind of interesting word associations. Let's see. So here are a few little post-production tips. You can, minimal, making changes, running spell checks, reductive, cherry picking and deleting the stuff you don't like. Editorial, you can clean it up, remove or revise nonsensical words. A lot of those things come out kind of funny. It would be fun to translate some of that Thai stuff and the Armenian stuff into English and see what it comes out saying. Iterative is you can just keep cutting this stuff up. For example, I can do this again. Okay, hang on. I'll just show you a couple of examples, and then if you have any questions, like why did you do this, or anything like that, you can, why are you here? We are here to go. All my little beat-in jokes. All right, so we'll go back to camera. So we could you can just iterate this forever, right? And then you throw this thing on the side, and then you can, is it again? Dang. Okay, I'm about to give up and just continue with this. But anyway, so you can just go on and on with this nonsense. It should go. And the more you deal with technology, the more you find yourself muttering. Talking to it, screaming back at Siri. It's not what I wanted, you bitch. Okay, there we go. All right, and camera. So anyway, we can just throw more stuff on here and just keep adding it to the meat grinder. Another fun thing to do is to use the template. Oh my goodness. Okay, but anyway, so you can use a stencil, and that's another fun way to do stuff, is you can pick a shape and then put it on your text, and you can use it just on basic text. You could put a series of blocks, cut a series of blocks out, and just lay it over your original text or over a book. Take a photo, do text recognition. Works really well, and it's fun. And in general, 4 out of 5 doctors recommend this. Again, here's the stencil method. And finally, I'll talk about some of the tools that I use just to try and, there it goes. We're going to fuck it up. I have to apologize for the kind of disjointedness, general. chaos of this, but it's just chaos magic, I suppose. But selection is key, garbage in, garbage out. Pick stuff that's related. So I'm using Google Lens. There's something like that for Apple too. I'm using an app called Pixelar that has that cool collage feature that's real fun. You know, the screenshot feature in the mobile phone allows you to kind of work between different capture methods and utilize them. And then this screw PY is amazing to be able to mirror your Android screen to the PC. As you can see in a live situation, it's a little bit awkward. And then here are some books and references that I used for this and links, and I'm sure that'll be available someplace somehow. And with that, I have a blog someplace. If you go to my Instagram page, there's a link tree, and it'll tell you all of my stuff, and I have a little blog page, and I can post it in there, I think, at least the link part. And with that, I will call this a day. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and thanks to the Brotherhood of the White Mountain for secretly organizing me to come. I deeply appreciate that and the work they've done. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful space. It's wonderfully and lovingly decorated. It's made me very happy to have chosen to be here. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Tom.